While Dark Armed Dragon and Gladiator Beast Geyserus fought for dominance, another heavy hitter from this format was almost entirely overlooked. Judgment Dragon and the entire Lightsworn archetype, while powerful, were just not able to convert into top cut nearly as consistently as the competition. This may have been due to the fact that one of the most powerful cards in the archetype, Charge of the Light Brigade, was sealed away in the next set, the Duelist Genesis. But there was an even greater power lurking away in that set that eventually no deck would be able to defeat. In this series, both MBT and myself will be traversing the sands of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Each episode will take a deep dive into Yu-Gi-Oh's past formats and unlock new strategies as new sets become available. Strap yourselves in because anything is possible. Welcome to the history of Yu-Gi-Oh!
We were never winning that last one. I went back and watched the episode, and though we both made a couple of pretty significant misplays, there was nothing we could have done. We were never winning that match. Cimo was always ahead, and we never had a way to get the ball rolling. Obviously, Gladiator Beast and Dark Armed Dragon were the most powerful things you could be doing in that format, but Gladiator Beast was head and shoulders above its compatriot, and that's represented in the results from that era. Remember, the SJC that we were playing around the same time as was completely closed out by Gladiator Beast at the semi-final level. On the wheel today, we have everything that topped in June, July, and August of 2008. Dark Armed Dragon, Gladiator Beast, Monarch, and Lightsworn. Now, Monarch and Lightsworn were played a lot at the Worlds tournament, but there were some pretty significant ban list changes. We don't want to go into those because that tournament's not exactly real. It's a strange mishmash of two different ban lists that produces some wild decks. But regardless, Lightsworn and Monarch were topping occasionally, and I would feel bad if we left this episode without an understanding of what these decks could do. Lightsworn didn't have Charge of the Light Brigade yet, but it did have Judgment Dragon, so could sack wins against much better decks. And Monarch has transformed pretty drastically since the last time we saw it. It's got Caius in it at this point, and Caius is a really, really huge shot in the arm for this ailing archetype. Once again, I am playing to win. However, I am not going to be rolling Dark Armed Dragon. Trust me, you're going to get a lot of Dark Armed Dragon in the coming weeks. Once Duelist Genesis comes out for about the next 7 months, Teledad is all that's worth playing. So I'm going to be rolling for Gladiator Beast first and foremost, and failing that, probably Monarch or Lightsworn. We've got 2 spins, so let's use them wisely. Let's see what we can get. I have a feeling that if Cimo rolls Lightsworn, he'll be playing that, but I think it's probably the best pick here. Gladiator Beast, of course, would have been fantastic if we rolled it, but Lightsworn can take games off of Gladiator Beast by going over the top with something like JD, and it's consistent enough that I feel better playing it than something like Monarch. Finally, no one's playing Light Imprisoning Mirror at this time, so yeah, let's give it a shot.
Oh, does it feel good to finally be out of the shirt of shame. All it took was piloting Gladiator Beast in probably the poorest possible sense, because obviously I misplayed because I've maybe touched those cards once in my life. Remember, I was on hiatus at that time, so while I know what these cards do, I don't actually know how to play these cards properly, and that's Yu-Gi-Oh! For you. What can I say, ladies and gentlemen? But it was good enough to beat Joseph, let's be honest. The DD Crow kind of did most of the heavy lifting, but that's okay. We're in the winner's circle. We're feeling fantastic. And now we are entering July, August of 2008. We wanted to do one final episode right before the Duelist Genesis and Synchros enter the game, because you're going to be seeing a lot of Teledad once we get to that point. I'm just going to be completely honest. And so we wanted to give you a little bit of a different flavor of some of the other decks that were around during this time. Obviously, you've seen Dark Armed Dragon. You've seen Gladiator Beast. These were the 2 titans at the time, but Lightsworn and Monarch were both topping around this time as well. Monarch getting more tops than Lightsworn, funny enough, but both of these decks are what Joseph and I are probably going to be aiming for, so then that way we can show you something a little bit different. I'm going to avoid Dark Armed Dragon because we're going to see a lot of this coming up very shortly, but if I spin Glad, I might not feel too bad about it. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Let's see what we are going to get for our first spin. Remember, I won, so I get 3 spins in total, so this is the first one. Let's see where we land on first. As I said, we're going to see a ton of Dark Armed Dragon coming up, so I want to give you guys a bit of a reprieve from that. So we're going to use our second spin here, hopefully get something that isn't Dark Armed Dragon, but we want to show that it was actually represented at this time. All right, I guess we're playing Monarch, baby. That's my specialty.
So here's the list. This is Dwayne Telemata's top 4 Lightsworn list from SJC Indianapolis in 2008, and I'm shocked. I thought this was going to suck. It actually looks quite good. Lightsworn doesn't have all of the tools that we know it for. Of course, we are missing Charge of the Light Brigade, but it's still got a lot. Most importantly, it has Judgment Dragon, a really powerful monster that can be special summoned for free by having 4 or more Lightsworn monsters with different names in your graveyard. You can pay 1,000 life points, destroy all other cards on the field, and that is not a once per turn effect. So if anything floats, you can keep going. Now, we're playing a lot of really bad cards in order to facilitate this card, named Lightsworns with pretty mediocre effects, but we're also playing some really good ones. Lila, for instance, destroys spell traps. Lumina sets up really powerful Reborn plays. Raikou is a fantastic removal spell. We kind of are in this situation where the deck is extremely adaptable. It's got a ton of game against Gladiator Beast because the monsters you would be attacking into are things like Raikou, which would destroy your monster, or you'll always have a Necro Gardna available to really blank the battle phase anyway. We can potentially go over the top of stuff like Dad by just wiping the board if they can't OTK, and honesting them if they refuse to banish stuff from their graveyard, instead opting to use the battle phase as a removal spell. We've also got some really unfair stuff in here as well, a Crush Card Virus setup, triple Solemn Judgment. I mean, this really has the potential to be quite good for us. Let me just go through the individual cards. Celestia Lightsworn Angel is unfortunately a 5-star Lightsworn, but when it's tribute summoned, you can mill 4 and then pop up to 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy those targets. Think of it like a really bad Geyserus. We've got Aaron Lightsworn Monk. This card's actually quite strong. Before damage calculation, it'll shuffle a defense position monster it attacks back into the deck like a Subterra Nemesis Archer. Garoth Lightsworn Warrior sucks. This card's not good, but he is a name. We've got 3 Honest. Jane Lightsworn Paladin, which gains 300 attack when it attacks. Judgment Dragon X3. 3 Lumina, well known for her Synchro setups, but unfortunately not yet. She does not have the requisite monsters in order to do anything with the extra deck, and they haven't invented tuners at this point in Yu-Gi-Oh! Lila can pop spell traps, which is extremely important against a lot of the back row decks that are in this format. If Alex picks Monarchs, for instance, this will largely be game determinative. Necro Gardna blanks battle phases. Can you think about why that might be good? And is a 600 attack point monster for Crush Card Virus. Raikou destroys individual cards, and Wolf shows up in your opening hand. We've got 2 Foolish Burial, a Heavy Storm, a Monster Reborn, a Mystical Space Typhoon, a Premature Burial, 3 Solar Recharge, which allows you to discard a Lightsworn monster, usually Wolf, draw 2 cards, then mill 2, Crush Card Virus, and 3 Solemn Judgment. Side deck is very tailored to meta threats. DD Crow is, of course, very, very good against Dark Arm Dragon, as you saw last time. Legendary Jujutsu Master has its time and place. Phantom of Chaos is really funny against the really powerful decks like Dark Arm Dragon. My Body's a Shield blanks Geyserus. Bottomless Trap Hole prevents your opponent from popping off. Dust Tornado and Royal Decree stop trap nonsense. And Torrential Tribute's just a generally good card. So feeling really good about this deck. I think it's very adaptable, very powerful, very consistent, and I hope we don't brick on wolves.
You know, I got to admit, when I saw that I was going to be playing Monarch, I was excited because obviously I love Monarch, but I wasn't expecting the list to look like this. But this is the deck we are going to be bringing to today's duel. This was actually a semifinals finish from Adam Korn, and this is definitely not a standard Monarch list. This was definitely teched out specifically for this format with Gladiator Beast and with Dark Arm Dragon running rampant, and so I like to see the adjustments being made here, and it's a really interesting take on Monarch. So while some people might be like, oh, another Monarch list, I actually think this is a very interesting approach to the deck, so let's go ahead and do the card by card. First up, Caius. We actually really haven't gotten to showcase Caius, even though this was such a powerhouse at the time. It's fantastic because it's basically Ryza, except it banishes the card instead of putting on top of the deck, and if it's a dark monster, it actually inflicts 1,000 damage to the opponent, so you can actually just kill your opponent with this in some instances, and that's pretty cool. 1 Cyber Valley. This is nice for being able to draw cards or maybe just have a way to end the battle phase if you need to stall for time. 2 Dekoichi for draw power. Going back to the Gravekeepers with 1 guard and 2 copies of Gravekeeper Spy. Great for board presence, great for getting Tribute Father to the field as well. We're actually on 2 copies of Mask of Darkness Darkness. On flip, this is a +1 because it adds a trap from graveyard to hand. This is the Magician of Faith for traps. That doesn't really see too much play. And as you can see, we have a lot of different trap options here, so I like it. We have one Morphing Jar just to be able to fuel our hand in case we're in a low resource game. We have Night Assailant to be able to just get any of our flip effect monsters back potentially, and also just to pop monsters as well. 2 copies of Prime Material Dragon. While this isn't technically a Monarch, it has Monarch stats, and it has a very interesting effect. The first effect reads, any effect that would inflict damage to a player increases their life points by the same amount instead. This is a way to kind of have like an anti-burn measure in your deck for any crazy FDKs that might be running around. But the second effect says, during either player's turn when a card or effect is activated that would destroy monsters on the field, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. This actually stops a lot in the format. This can stop stuff like Geyserus, this can stop Dark Arm Dragon, and so I could see why the Monarch decks would actually pivot to a card like this, because although it's obviously going to be out on the field so your opponent doesn't have to necessarily play into it, it puts them in a bit of an awkward spot because they can't just go for the big blowout with some of their best cards. 1 Rise of the Storm Monarch, I believe it's actually limited at this point, which is why they're only playing 1 of it, but it's still an absolute beast of a card. 1 Sangan to get to all of our good cards, 1 Spirit Reaper to slow the game down if necessary, and 2 copies of Thestalos for ripping the best cards out of their hands, such as Dark Arm Dragon. For the spells, 2 Allure of Darkness. We're actually playing a pretty hefty dark package when you consider Caius, Dekoichi, the Gravekeepers, the Masks of Darkness, Night Assailant, Sangan, and Reaper. So this allows us to turbo through the deck, maybe try to get to something like Crush Card, which would be nice. 2 Book of Moon because it's one of the most flexible cards in the game, Brain Control, and 2 Soul Exchange to steal the opponent's monsters to use them for our Monarchs, along with 1 Mystical Space Typhoon. And then for the traps, there is 14 of them. 2 copies of Bottomless and All-Star in this format. A lot of decks were just straight up maining 2 to 3 copies of this because it was so powerful. 1 Crush Card Virus because it is one of the best cards in the game, and 1 Mirror Force. 3 copies of Reckless Greed just to go digging to get to our cards as quickly as humanly possible. 3 copies of Royal Oppression. This is a card we haven't really shown off that much in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh, but this comes up during Gladiator Beast formats specifically. Being able to negate the special summons of monsters is huge, especially when we're playing a deck that's more Tribute Summon or Normal Summon reliant. 3 Solemn Judgment, just another staple of the format, and 1 Trap Dust Shoot because it's one of the strongest cards in the game. The side deck is also rather interesting. 2 DD Crow. We've seen why this is good throughout multiple episodes of the history of Yu-Gi-Oh. Depending on what Joseph's playing, we may want to play this. This could also be good if he's on Lightsworn because you can actually lower the Lightsworn count for something like Judgment Dragon. 2 copies of Dark Armed of our own. This is really cool because we are playing a lot of darks, and so this is a way for us to have another additional bomb in case we need it. We have 2 copies of Legendary Jujutsu Master, which is a great card for the Gladiator Beast because they'll actually get shuffled back into the deck before they can trigger. 1 Snipe Hunter to clean up boards. 1 Heavy Storm for, and I presume we are going second because we are playing a lot of traps. 3 Prohibition. I'm not exactly sure what this is in here for, but I guess you could call just their best card, Dark Arm Dragon, Geyserus, and then it's not going to be able to be summoned until they clear this first. 1 Dust Tornado, 2 Pulling the Rug, and 1 Torrential Tribute, wrapping up the side deck. I am super excited for this one because this is going to be very interesting. I'm curious to see how this is going to line up against Joseph playing Lightsworn, maybe a Gladiator Beast matchup. I guess we could also maybe play a Mirror, and that would be also kind of odd, but we'll have to see what Joseph's playing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to make you wait any longer. It's time to duel. Joseph, this is going to be a very interesting episode. Not necessarily for the decks we're playing this episode, but the fact that the next few episodes might be, shall we say, a very dark time in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. And we've already been in a dark time, and it's about to get a lot darker a lot quicker.
Yeah, we've had about 4 back-to-back dad episodes, and settle in, everyone. That is not going anywhere. We gentlemaned out of dad decks unless you were very unlucky with your rolls, so I don't know if we'll be seeing him this episode, but oh gosh, as soon as the Duelist Genesis releases, it's going to be all dad all the time. He is back from the store and ready for action.
It is exciting, though, that we've actually gone through, what is this now, 6 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! And we're finally at a new summoning mechanic. I think that's a pretty momentous occasion that's worth celebrating for the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! So we've had some good times, buddy. We've had some good times, and I'm sure this is going to be another one. You ready?
We've had some okay times. I've had a lot of getting sacked times, but I'm sure you would never do that to me here.
Both.
I'm sure it won't
Yeah.
happen this episode.
Never. Oh, never. Who would ever do something like that? All right, we have to shout out our patron. Fittingly enough, depending on what decks we were playing, it is Fellis Lightsworn Archer. Thank you so much for the support. And Joseph, I got the rock, paper, scissors generator back, so go ahead and give me a number, and I'll refresh it that many times for you.
Here we go. Okay, let me get the number of games I need to win to tie it up. 1.
All right, refreshing.
God, son of a... All right, whatever. I got this far losing every single die roll anyway. What's another one?
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. All right, I'll go first. I think that's ideal with this deck. Good luck, buddy.
Good luck to you, too.
I can't wait to see what you brought today.
Happy to see you're playing 41 cards. We might be playing something different.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and draw, and how the hell do I want to start with this? Well, I'm all for YOLOing. I'm going to set, and then I'm going to set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead, buddy.
God is my witness. Heavy storm off the top. Please. Holy shit. Yeah, I didn't get it. Can you imagine?
Of course not. Of course not.
All right,
Of course
what the
not.
fuck would you set 5 for? No, you don't want to dust shoot me in standby phase?
I do, actually. Now that you mention it, I am going to do that.
All right, okay. Here's what I got.
I was letting you have your moment. I was letting you have your moment and drop the heavy. But yeah, I do want to do this, actually. Oh, interesting, buddy. It looks like we are going to be seeing some Lightsworn in this match. Okay.
We may be. Yeah, setting 5 is pretty shocking. Telegraphs to me that you're not on Lightsworn unless you drew Crush Cards, Solemn, Dust Shoot, which seems pretty unlikely.
Crush Card, Solemn, Judgment, Raikou. That could be my hand.
For what it's worth, this means that you could be on like the worst Gladiator Beast Open of all time, potentially, and you just want to lose to Heavy Storm, but I think most likely you're on Monarch, and if that's the case... Uh-oh.
This is a weird one. Celestia is pretty good, but you need to have the setup.
No,
for it,
it's Celestia. Hurry up and pick Celestia, buddy.
Aaron is slightly concerning because I actually do have a defense position monster, but then you also have Lila,
it's really
and
gonna
Lila can pop
connect.
back row. And then you have Raikou, and Raikou can also take care of stuff as well. Foolish can just get you Wolf, which is like whatever. I guess you can also just get like weird like Necro Gardener stuff as well. So what's the best way we can take care of this? Raikou might be the move here.
Sure. So I'll put Raikou back on the top of the deck. That tells me a little bit about your back row. That means you've probably got an answer to Lila. So I'm not putting you on Gladiator Beast. However, if you're on Gladiator Beast and that said card is a Hoplomys, I am going to lose the game. I'm going to fire off a Foolish Burial.
Sure.
We'll go ahead and get our Wolf. We're going to trigger the effect of Wolf in Graveyard.
I am going to Oppression, the effect.
Holy shit a moly. Wow, you're really on Monarch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
If this doesn't give it away, I don't know what does.
Have we seen an Oppression yet?
I don't think so. I think I said in the deck building we haven't seen very much of it. This may be the actual first time we're seeing it, but to be fair, I don't think we really saw a lot of Oppression until this time anyway. It was around Glad format that Oppression started getting good.
Okay, so if I think you're on Monarch, that set card is Gravekeeper's Spy or like Sangan or some bullshit. I think some people were also playing Old Vindictive Magician, which would be very funny.
It would be very funny.
I'm going to try to normal summon Lila here, if that's okay.
Would you like to do anything with Prio?
I would. I'm going to trigger her effect.
Okay, so what are you going to target?
I feel like the pick is probably Royal Oppression, but at the same time, none of the shit in my hand gets special summoned anyway. God, that's so rough that you had it. I'm going to go for the spell trap closest to your deck.
Okay, that was the wrong decision. I'm going to chain Reckless Greed.
I don't know if it's the wrong decision. It at least means that you're going to have to use the cards in your hand exclusively. All right.
Your Lila goes to defense.
She'll go to defense. I'll set one card. And if you'll permit it, I'll end my turn and trigger her effect again.
That will be milling cards. That's fine.
Boo, boo, boo. No wolf. Boo.
Okay, so I have my own Oppression up, which is pretty good. I think I kind of just want to go crazy here. Seems pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and normal summon Spirit Reaper.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. Yeah, whatever. That's fine.
I will go to battle, and I'm just going to hit over your Lila.
Sure.
Main 2, I'll set another card.
Damn, you really went crazy there. All right, I'll draw for turn, stand by main. I'm going to normal summon Aaron, if that's okay.
Aaron's normal summon is fine.
Okay, so set card you wouldn't have flipped up. I don't know why. If it was Gravekeeper Spy, you always would have flipped it up and just not activated the effect to Spirit Reaper card out of my hand. All right, I'm going to go to combat. I'm going to attack with Aaron into Spirit Reaper.
Sure, so I'll take 13.
Yep. All right, second main, I'm going to activate Solar Recharge, pitching Celestia.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll go ahead and draw 2. Could have done this pre-combat to maybe hit a wolf here, but I wanted to see if I could clear out a back row, maybe like a battle trap or something. Ooh, that's a rough one. Mill. Ooh, Necro Garden.
Yeah, Necro Garden is not bad.
We're getting there. I mean, it is slowly happening. Very slowly, admittedly. I have already normal summoned, so I will proceed to the end phase and trigger the effect of Aaron. Great.
Okay, there's an Honest gone. Happy to see that. End phase, I will use another Reckless Greed.
Oh my lord. Wow. Oh, wait, this card was not limited?
No, it was not. So I have one more turn now where I'm not going to be able to draw.
Right.
So, because the second turn of the first Reckless is now gone, and the first turn of the second Reckless is now gone. That's not confusing at all.
I used the Reckless to draw the Reckless.
Exactly. Let's go to main 1, and I think I'm going to go ahead... This is so weird because it's like if I switch Reaper to defense, then Aaron
actually
can just
outs
knock it. Yeah, it's not fantastic. I do think I'm going to do that though, sadly, even though it gives you a nice free shot at Reaper. I'm just going to set some more. Go ahead, buddy.
Jeez, do you want to maybe commit to something? I'm in the same boat, buddy. I'm going to go Aaron into Reaper.
So Reaper will go back to deck.
All right.
Assuming you're using the effect.
I will be. Main 2, I'm going to set one card. I think I'm probably setting this as well. And end phase, I'm going to try and trigger Aaron again.
Go ahead.
JD,
oh,
awesome.
There's one JD. Another Necro, though.
Based. Go ahead.
So this is the final turn on Reckless, so I will not be drawing. So now we're back to actually drawing cards. However, we can just draw 5 cards right now with Morphing Jar, so let's go ahead and do that.
That's so annoying. I have a JD in hand, but honestly, I'm not too beat up about it.
All right, so we'll both draw 5.
Whoa!
That's pretty good. Okay.
So the good news is there's kind of a cap on how popping off you can go here. At the end of the day, you only get 1 normal summon. I'm going to Royal Oppression anything else you do.
Yeah, you are not wrong. I'm going to start by firing off an MST on this back row.
It is a Crush Card Virus. That would have been fun, huh?
Oh, that would have been fun, especially after Morphing Jar on top of it. That would have been a little bit crazy. I'm going to go ahead and fire Soul Exchange. I'll target the Aaron. Okay, I'll sack it for a Caius, and we will banish your set monster.
I'm going to Solemn here.
I'm going to Solemn your Solemn.
I figured. That's fine. My set monster is Raikou.
So this goes to Grave. I would really like to be able to do more damage here, but unfortunately, I don't think I can. I think that's really going to be the extent of my turn. You got a fresh hand, so go ahead, buddy. Let's see what you got.
All right.
Oh, I was going to say, I was really hoping that the set was a Necro Gardener just so I could get the burn damage off of Caius.
I'm going to normal summon a Jane Light Swan Paladin.
Hell yeah. Sure, that's fine.
All right. I'm going to attack your Morphing Jar, if that's fine.
That would be... she goes up to 21 if I allow it. Then I take 14. Taking 14 puts me down to 1550. That actually means I only have 1 more oppression hit. I'm thinking you might be doing this... because if you get me in a position where I have to negate multiple things, you could make it so that I negate 1 thing, and then JD makes it so that that's the second summon, and then you can wipe up the board, even though we're in a post-combat scenario. Okay, so I have a Book of Moon, but I have an interesting choice here.
Yeah, you do.
Because I can flip my own Morphing Jar and just make us cycle hands again. And that's kind of funny, actually, because then you actually start getting pretty low on cards. And if you happen to draw JD off of the Morphing Jar previously, then all your JDs are gone. Then your plan kind of just goes out the window. And then Jane will mill you some more, and you get just like very dangerously low on cards. Alternatively, I could book the Jane. I don't take any damage. I still get my oppression negates as well. It's a tough one. There also could be a scenario, like statistically, you shouldn't have JD in your hand because you have 5 to 13. You know what? I'm gonna set the jar.
All right, yeah, let's go ahead and get it.
All right. So jar goes to grave. We're both pitching and drawing 5.
So I did have the JD in hand.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. All right.
And the Honest
like
and the
it.
Necrogardna.
Well, you got a graveyard of Necrogardnas, which is nice. I mean, I can't be killing you anytime relatively soon.
That's interesting.
All right.
That's a strange setup. I'll go to main phase 2. How many Necrogardnas do I have in here? All of them. Every single Necrogardna.
They're all gone.
Okay. Well, I will proceed to the end step and trigger the effect of Jade.
Sure, Mildew.
Okay, those are not going to be helpful.
Spells. All right, I actually get to draw now, which I haven't been able to do in like 3 turns, so that's fun. 2 Honest are gone, so you still potentially have an Honest, so I have to worry about that. I did have a way to kill you previously, but that was before I decided to do the Morphing Jar thing, but I might still be able to do it. So I'm going to start with an Allure of Darkness.
That's fine, yeah.
All right, so we're going to draw a couple. I guess I will pitch the Night Assailant.
Sure.
And let's fire Allure again.
Yeah, let's go, buddy. We're drawing our whole deck this game.
This time, I'm actually going to get rid of a Mask of Darkness.
Whoa,
that gets banished.
Can't believe you're playing this card. This is terrible.
I can't either. It's pretty remarkable, to be honest. All right, so I'm going to tribute the Set Spy. We did find a Monarch, but it's not one that clears the Jane, unfortunately.
I see.
So we are going to hit with Thestalos here. Let's take out this one.
It's a premature burial. Okay, well, Royal Oppression, Smoil Oppression.
No damage, unfortunately. I was looking to get a little bit more in there. Let's go. Oh, do I want to go to combat? That's kind of scary.
Right.
Okay, so, all right. So worst case scenario, I would be taking 1,800 damage in the face of an Honest. I don't really like that.
It's a pretty bad case scenario.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. 6 cards in deck, drawing to 5. If all your Honests were gone, you also have Necrogardnas too.
I do,
so
yeah.
like that's also a thing. I think I should have done this a little bit differently in retrospect, but that's okay. I will instead just set 4 cards face down and pass the turn.
Jesus, you're kidding me. 4 cards. All right.
Go ahead.
You'll notice that the Heavy Storm is not yet in the graveyard, so one time, please.
Boy, Royal Oppression's such a fun card, isn't it?
No! How many cards could you possibly have set that do something? Some number of Soul Exchange, some number of brain control bullshit. I know that there's some
I
nonsense
did set Soul Exchange previously, so yeah, there could be nonsense.
However, some of them are probably also stuff. I'm gonna send Jane to the graveyard here. I'm gonna normal summon Celestia Lightsworn Angel.
You're going to do anything with priority?
I'm gonna try to activate her effect.
I believe you target as part of the cost here. So what would you like to target?
Your monsters.
That's pretty good. I will bottomless the Celestia.
Sure.
So, all right. So both the Monarchs are gone.
That's all I have to say. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead and draw. Wow, that is... You're going to draw to 1 card here.
Yep.
I'm going to Reckless main phase.
Why not, buddy? Why the fuck not?
I mean, we need to get something going here. That's not bad. Okay, I'm going to set, and I'll pass. Go ahead.
Just like I fucking drew it up! Last card in the deck! Heavy Storm!
Unreal. Fucking real. I mean, you had to have it, to be fair.
Yep.
So it is what it is. I do have Crush card in response.
Sure.
So let's see what the last cards are you're working with here, buddy.
Okay, buddy. Are you ready? That
Let's see
Crush
it.
card may have just lost me the game because my cards are Lila, Wolf, and then Lumina, Honest. Lost me the game.
Okay.
Sorry, I misspoke. That Crush card lost you the game.
Yeah.
I've got Lumina and the material for it. I couldn't have outed your Gravekeeper's Guard, but with no spell traps on your side of the field, I can use Lumina's effect to bring back Wolf and attack in for lethal. Holy shit, I did it! What a stupid ass game!
Joseph, I'm so fucking demoralized after that game. Oh my god. How does Crush Card lose me the game of all things? That card's supposed to win every time it resolves.
I don't understand why you're demoralized. You just got outskilled by a better duelist. I mean, you know, not much
Clearly.
to say other than get owned.
Clearly. I had an opportunity to not banish the Mask of Darkness and keep the Crush Card and Crush Card you then, so then you couldn't have Celestia'd me, and I got greedy using the second Allure, thinking I was going to get like another target, because I was digging for a Monarch just to kill the Jane and just kill you right then and there. And so I think that would have just been the safer play, because then I couldn't have gotten Celestia and I still would have had my board.
I think
you know, that's gonna be one for the books, Joseph. That's gonna be one for the books.
I think you just didn't understand what your win con was in that game. It wasn't ever going to be attacking me to death. It was always going to be, holy shit, the only way I win is if he draws his entire deck. And I was damn close.
And also, if I would have looked at your graveyard, since all the cards are engraved, I could have, we talked about this in side decking. If I knew you had Honest, because you play 3 Honest. If I would have seen that you had a Lumina still as well, then I could have actually figured out that, or at least made a better, you know, play there. But
if you peg me on 3 Lina, you know the entire contents of my hand. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good luck, buddy. I'm just gonna set 3 this time and pass it over.
Show me.
And I will dust shoot you once again.
All right. Guess what, idiot? Not only did I draw the Heavy Storm in my opener, I also drew Decree Judgment. We ain't playing Yu-Gi-Oh today. It's not happening.
It doesn't look like it. I will send back the
don't say Aaron. Not
Wolf,
Aaron.
Obviously. No, I'll get rid of the Aaron.
No. It's Necro Gardener. Come on.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll shuffle here. All right, I'm gonna set 2 cards. I'll just be real with you, buddy. The only way I win this game is if that set card is a Morphing Jar. So let's see it.
It's actually a Spirit Reaper.
God dang it. Okay, not much I can do about that. I'll go to main phase 2, and I guess you're good to go, buddy. Who really cares?
All right, we'll go ahead and draw. So I know you have Decree Judgment. You could have set Heavy, but that sounds like kind of weird if you would have done
I thought it was morphing.
This is weird, because even if I hit over Necro Gardener, you can actually banish it to stop the Reaper attack of all things.
It's sick. It's like the only interaction that's actually important. And plus, what are you reapering out of my hand? The wolf? Be my fucking guest.
That's true. I think it's better off in the grave at this point, so you can, like, Lumina it back. Shit, I mean, that just might be the play. I might just have to force you to do it here. I'll bring out Sangan.
Sure, yeah.
Let's go to attack. We'll hit the Necro for 4, and I guess you're going to banish it unless you don't care about losing a card.
You are out of your mind if you think either of these cards are worth keeping.
All right, I'll go ahead and roll it. Let's see. We'll hit that one.
It's Wolf, idiot! Woo! Here's
God.
where I draw the
so that
Solar
means
Recharge.
Yeah, so you could still have the Heavy in hand. You don't have a lot going on. You're like top decking at this point.
I need a Lightsworn. Pretty much any Lightsworn will do, but I do need one.
Yeah, any Lightsworn would be great right now. Go ahead.
Thanks, game. Thank you so much.
Wolf! It's a wolf! Wolf!
I should be careful what I wish for.
It's a set. Okay.
I don't know. What, you're just gonna fucking Spirit Reap me?
All right, I'll draw. Ooh, that's not bad. Okay. I will tribute the Sangan for a Caius.
Sure.
Target the set monster.
I'll do this.
I'll Judgment as well.
That was the only
Can't
punish.
decree that, idiot!
Only punish. Yep.
Oh, it was a Ryko. Okay, I mean, like, that's whatever.
Ryko.
So set cards are Heavy and Decree now, which is kind of whatever. I'll just go to battle. I'll hit for 24. You're at... I'm thinking on the Reaper hit, actually. It could I mean, like, you have Decree. So, like, even if I have Oppression, like, Oppression's never going to fucking resolve anyway. I'm on 4K, so it's the only reason I, like, partially want to preserve my life total. So I actually am not going to hit with the Reaper. I don't think the 300's going to matter at this point. I'll actually just put this to defense. And I'll just set 1 and pass. Go ahead, buddy.
Aaron. One time, Aaron, please. I'm going to decree at end step.
Yep, of course.
All right, I'm going to normal summon Lumina. You know, take that. I'll go to end step.
Okay,
Wolf. One time Wolf. Oh, well, the Necro Gardener does potentially do something.
I was about to say, Necro Gardener is not bad. Necro Gardener is not bad. I will draw.
Yep.
That's fantastic. So this is interesting because all you need is a single card that gets you a monster, but you still can't clear Caius, even if you do something
Whoa,
with
hey, come on. What if I use Lumina to get back Felis, like the patron said, and we'll go into Black Rose and, you know, bing, bang, bong.
With no extra deck pre-Duelist Genesis. Sounds like a great plan.
You're complicating things, buddy.
I have like 2 different lines. Don't really like either of them, to be honest. So I'm just going to go to battle. I'll force you to Necro Gardener.
Yeah.
And then main 2, I'm going to set 1, and I'll pass.
All right, let's see something. Oh,
you
you're
got?
fucked, buddy. That's the best card in my deck. How did I get so good at Yu-Gi-Oh? Wow. Okay, so I'll trigger the effect of Lumina. With my royal decree on the field, I'll pitch a dust tornado to the graveyard.
Oh, perfect. Fantastic.
Now, you may be wondering, why did I board into so many traps with royal decree? It's because you're playing Oppression. I'm going to target the wolf, the only target.
Sure.
Someday I can out the Caius. I'll go to the battle phase and walk into your spy.
It's a Night Assailant, actually.
Worse. Much worse, yeah.
Let's go ahead and pop the... I don't know if it matters.
This is a hard one. Like... The payoffs for me milling cards are the cards that are already in the grave.
I think I do pop Lumina, actually.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I don't want you to get more mills.
Okay, one wolf against the world. Can he do it?
He can do it, but for me, because I'm going to brain control your wolf.
So he
Come here, boy! Come here, boy!
All right, okay. Let's just go to game. Well, at least it was over quickly. I guess that's all I can say. It's my own damn fault. I boarded out of monsters for the Royal Decrees, and I drew the Royal Decrees and no monsters. Solemn into Solemn 2 games in a row. How are we going to resolve this? Just show our hands to each other, see who has the most Solemns, and declare them the winner?
Basically, I was reading a lot of the feature matches from this time, and a lot of the times, like, saving the Solemn for the Solemn was the play, crazy enough.
I suppose I will go first. Not that it really matters too much. Good luck to you, and... let's see if we can resolve our final dadless game for the next 6 months.
All right, good luck, buddy.
That is... oh, my God. I don't know about that one.
I will say I'm at least happy this wasn't a mirror match in any capacity.
All right, I'm going to set 3 and go to end step, trigger Lila, and mill 3.
Okay, let's see what you got.
Just trying to hit wolves, you know? That fucking sucks.
I will draw. You got something?
No.
No dust shoot. All right, let's go ahead and heavy. I'm not above hitting only 2 cards.
Had to be heavy. Had to be heavy. I'm gonna.
It was also the first card I drew. Oh shit! Okay.
Damn it. It's so bad.
That is pretty bad. I will then Allure of Darkness if you'll allow it. All right. This is awkward. Like, I know you're playing Decree, so you very well could just have it, but you also just have, like, a Lila, right? So it's like, I'm kind of disincentivized from setting cards regardless, so it's kind of a strange position to be in.
Yeah, the idea was to force you into a strange position, and then the position got way less strange because you had a fucking heavy storm!
You did protect with Judgment, so that tells me it probably is, like, Decree or something like that. I think Spy is probably the banish here. I will go ahead and set 1. I think I'm just going to pass on that.
I'll draw for turn. That's interesting. As much as I love you, Lila, you're going to the graveyard. I'm going to normal summon Celestia. Target up to 2, so we'll hit your 1 card. Mill 4 here.
Oh, that's a lot. All right, it was the other Spy.
It's nothing good, however.
Nothing good? You're loaded for JD. That seems pretty good to me. Actually, no, you're 1 off. I take that back.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm going to go Foolish Burial here.
Okay, now you're not 1 off.
We're going to send a wolf and summon it.
Okay, now you're 1 off again.
I'll Foolish again, and we'll send another wolf.
This card wasn't limited? What the fuck?
I needed to hit a wolf off of Celestia for lethal, but as is, I only have what appears to be about 7,000.
Jeez. That's a lot, though.
Yeah. Puts you out of range of a lot of pretty important stuff, like double brain control or something. I'll pass it back to you.
All right, we'll draw. It's gonna need to be a good one. Let's set 1, set 2, set 3. Go ahead.
Oh, so it's the Morphing Jar then? I guess I can go for a Solar Recharge here.
Jeez.
I'm gonna pitch a Raikou for cost.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't like it. That's fine.
Sure. I'll draw 2, and then I will mill 2. Oh, the 3rd wolf. Awesome.
Fuck off.
Let's get that guy back, huh?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so what fucks me up here?
I'm so shocked Foolish Burial wasn't limited. That's insane to me.
Yeah, tell me about it. I guess I'll go for it, buddy. Heavy Storm?
I mean, I kind of have to.
Solemn Judgment. I do have a Solemn Judgment.
Yep. It's fine.
Oh, thank God.
I'm so mad.
Mirror Force! Son of a bitch! Oh, and Soul Exchange. All right, anything but Reaper. Let's see it.
It was Night Assailant. It's not good enough. You got it, buddy. Got it, buddy.
All right.
Fuck!
For what it's worth, that was like the most explosive
Fuck.
turn the deck can produce. Celestia into double wolf with the potential for lethal on turn 3. That was pretty fucking crazy. And you did have lines that beat me the turn that I solemned the heavy storm. If you had brain control plus monarch, I actually was just straight up dead.
I had the soul exchange, but I didn't have the monarch. So my hand was Dekoichi, assailant, spy off of the allure. I had Mirror Force's judgment, and so I just didn't have a lot going on for me at that point. And so I figured spy can get guard out of the deck to put up another body, and it thins the deck by a card, so I can maybe draw into like a monarch or something. Like Dekoichi could have drawn me a card, I guess, but like you popped, all 3 of them just don't do anything to Celestia anyway, because they're all flip effects, so it was irrelevant. But I was just trying to think of like what could have possibly just been the right move. I figured the board presence was a little bit better than the card advantage versus the Dekoichi there, and we didn't get there. And as soon as I figured you either had Decree or Judgment that you were using with the Judgment, and I held back on setting because obviously you have Lila, so there's no point, because you could have just popped first and then tributed for Celestia. And so I was really just hoping it was just something else that wasn't Judgment, or you didn't have Heavy, because you did have Judgment, so I could have gone Mirror Force, you would have Judgmented, and I could have Judgmented your Judgment on the Mirror Force and blown you out for 4 at that point. And that's what I was trying to do. It just didn't happen. What was the next card? Yeah,
the greatest card in the history of time, of course.
Of course.
I'm so glad we got this match. We almost tried to curate this match. The wheel was very merciful today. I would feel bad if we got out of this era without taking a look at Caius Monarch. You saw the strength of Caius in those games, and Lightsworn. I mean, we all saw the strength of Wolf, and especially in a format where Foolish Burial is not at 1.
And you even have flexibility too, right? You can get like another Lightsworn name if you need to get to JD. If you are really in a pinch, you could like pitch Necrogardna if you just want to like not die. But there's other cool stuff you can do with it. And I just love the fact that we actually did get to touch on Lightsworn a little bit, because this isn't the last time we're going to see it, right? Later on, Twilight Sworn's going to come into the fray. Charge of the Light Brigade actually isn't even legal yet. That was actually a secret rare in the Duelist Genesis. And if there wasn't already incentive enough to buy that set, that's one of the best cards Lightsworn can get access to. Being able to search all your stuff, mill on top of it. The card is just crazy. And we got to see Lightsworn in one of its purest forms, I would say. But JD didn't hit the field, shockingly.
I will say, while JD didn't hit the field, for me at least, the shadow of JD kind of loomed large over this game in the same way that Dad did. Game 1, I had JD live the entire game, and it was just the Royal Oppression. So much of my thought process was, how do I out the Royal Oppression and just kill Cimo, or how do I get him into a position where he can't pay for the Royal Oppression? And it ended up not mattering because the out to JD was triple Morphing Jar. But it was such a weasel of a scenario. Games 2 and 3, of course, it didn't come up, but we did get to see one of the other really powerful cards that I think people don't remember when they think about Lightsworn, and that's Celestia. Like, in a format where Geyserus is king because it destroys 2 cards on the field, Celestia does the same thing. It's slower, of course, but if you get to Foolish Burial a Wolf out and tribute it that way, it's actually not that much slower at all.
Absolutely. And just the difference like an Oppression would have made in this game, just to be able to stop these wolves from coming down, like, that's why this card is banned. Like, a lot of people look at a card like Vanity's Emptiness as being like an absolutely just like terribly designed card. Oppression came much earlier on. This card was legal in like Legacy of Darkness, Dark Crisis. Like, this was like in the first like 7 sets of the game, but just never really had an opportunity to show itself because there's never really a reason to play it. But when we're in a format with Dark Arm Dragon, Lightsworn, Gladiator Beasts, and you have a deck that is actually very just normal summon / tribute summon centric, it's almost a perfect fit for this deck, because it doesn't really hurt you all that much, although it kind of did in the first game because I couldn't actually flip up this spy, funny enough. But just being able to not really care all that much about the oppression and just make the opponent struggle under it. People haven't really gotten to see just how truly, no pun intended, oppressive this card is. And even though the effect is reciprocal, it usually doesn't matter most of the time, because the decks that are playing it are usually very one-sided. Or, in the instance of Emptiness, you set up your whole board first, then you flip it, and then your opponent just kind of stares at you and can't play the game.
I think everyone does have to recognize that for a long time, Oppression was unplayable for 2 reasons. Firstly, there's no board building. So who cares if you set up your board? Your board is like set 1 pass. And secondly, Monarch is everywhere from the year 2006 to 2008. And playing this card main deck while Monarch is viable is a death sentence. Can you imagine just tribute summoning a Mobius and popping 2 cards, neither of which are Royal Oppression, and you're just staring at this continuous trap that's turning off your deck in some capacity as well? I do like that we get to show off how this card is broken, how Foolish Burial is broken, how the peripheral stuff in these formats was broken, but just paled in comparison to Dark Armed Dragon and Gladiator Beast. And while we did get to have this fun match between Monarch, a deck that has now fallen out of favor and I don't think comes back until we get new stuff a little later down the line, and Lightsworn, a deck that's kind of perennially viable but never the best, we're about to see a stagnation, I guess I would call it.
Kind of talked about how Dark Armed Dragon introduced the first quote-unquote Tier 0 era of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think we are going to push that definition to its limits once we hit Duelist Genesis. There are a lot of cards in that set that just happen to be dark synergistic, because if dark attribute decks weren't already strong enough as is, that are going to push the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game to its limits. And Mr. MBT and I took a look at the future, and basically the next 5 months are nothing but Teledad. Don't worry, we're not going to do 5 separate episodes of Teledad. We're going to condense it for you all. But
we're going to do 10 episodes. You have to see every variant.
Exactly. Every single variant of Dad with every tech card imaginable. But no, we're going to condense it for you guys to give you guys the true Teledad mirror experience so you can see just how absolutely absurd this deck was. It's going to be a lot of compressing. It's going to be a lot of compressing.
Yeah. I mean, no surprise that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of struggling during this era. We're striving to find some stuff that's playable that wasn't Gladiator Beast or Dark Armed Dragon. Lightsworn had maybe 3 or 4 tops. Monarch had maybe 5 or 6 tops. I would say every single deck not named Teledad for the next 5 months has under 10 tops total. Like everything that is not Teledad combined under 10 tops over the course of the next 5 months. Comprehensive. It is miserable, this format.
It's not even close. Not even close. But it's cool, though, because I think it's definitely a very important part of Yu-Gi-Oh's history.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's something that when we throw around the term Tier 0 format, people may not really understand like why that is the case. And a lot of people in the comments from what I was reading, they look at a deck like Dad Return and they think, this doesn't look that bad. I think Teledad's going to tell a much different story.
It is important to recognize that formats like this existed for understanding Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Like the same way that it's important to understand trench warfare in World War I existed to determine the arc of American history, right? Like it existed, but boy, oh boy, it was not fun.
I was going to say, the Teledad just coming into the fray is like when they discovered the Gatling gun in World War I and realized that trench warfare may not exactly be the best idea anymore.
You know, I mean, I've been saying for a long time the print of Dark Armed Dragon and its consequences have been a disaster for the Yugist playing populace. But hey, he's back now. He's completely fine. And by the end of next episode, I think you're going to wish that Dad had stayed at the store.
The last thing I'm going to say before we wrap this up is I was actually playing Dad in this deck.
I thought it was possible. I was like, there are a lot of darks in here.
Yeah. Adam Korn's list was very interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Did you roll Dark Armed Dragon or did you roll Monarch?
No. So it's funny. I actually rolled Dark Armed Dragon first, and then I respun into Monarch. And this list is just a completely tailored version for the Glad Dark Arm, just everything, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the oppressions come in. That's where fucking Mask of Darkness to get back your oppression or your Solemn Judgment. And because all of these cards are dark, a lot of them actually also play under Crush Card, which is kind of funny, aside from the Monarchs. There was one part in one feature match where his opponent Crush Carded him, and Adam didn't lose a single card off of it for like the entirety of the Crush Card resolution.
That's so funny.
Because it just has a very heavy dark core, you can just, he side decked the Dad. So I think the theory was when the opponent saw that he was on Monarch, he brought in Dad because you're going to play all these specific bad cards for Monarch and Dad can just blow them out that way. So I think that's where the theory was with that. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! We really hope you guys enjoyed, but it looks like I will be back in the Short of Shame quite quickly. Although I feel like this one was... Yeah, I feel like this one was kind of my own doing, I'll be honest. But next time, tell a dad, you're not going to want to miss out. We do have to shout out the patrons, though, as always. So big shout out to Shout1317, Shotagonist, Sean Alling Jr., Cameron Smith, Joshua Schlee, and Gayoko, Tim00x3, Ike Ironfang, Pony Stark, Ian Musa, Michael Dente, Dan the Manhoven, Part 2 Synchro Guy, Mystic Walk, Sylvia Wilds, Indian Taisho, Draconic, Dollywop, Dragon Lord, Jarvis Martin, Logan Thomas, Peter Gregory, Thomas Nelson, Jordan Coons, Calvin Iron Bladesman, Pure Ace, Jesse Wood, True Nerdgasm, Cole T, Benjamin Fuller, Brother Paul, Chris Hood, Lumpy, Nehru Celeste. We don't read our cards. That's still true. David Liu, Rockley325, Lane Rogers, Silent Agent 216, Brett Havey, Isidon, Gren Maju and Salad, Sky Rose, Dylan Hunter, Garthox DOW, John Two Base, Apathy Astro, Brody Eastwood, Dace Allen, and Flannel Daddy. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we will see you in the Duelist Genesis.